There was just so many things wrong with this episode, like, hate watch The Bachelorette with me. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! First of all, there was no rose ceremony. So let's just throw that out there. I don't like that. There needs to be a rose ceremony every episode, even if they need to take it to like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Like, there needs to be a rose ceremony. Nobody has the time in their lives to be waiting for next week to find out who ends up staying. So this was the episode of awkward dates, bad outfits, and dumb speeches. Okay, so first we start off with the premise of it being a rainy day. It's a rainy weekend. It's raining all the time. The guys are bored. They have nothing but ample opportunity to talk mess about each other. And Jordan takes that opportunity to continue to talk about David. So just so you have a reference of who these people are, Jordan is that 26-year-old model who like uses words either incorrectly or makes them up completely. And David is Chicken David, the guy who showed up in the chicken outfit, who is really like an investment banker or like hedge fund guy or something with a lot of money. And they are fighting right now. So heretofore, Jordan, because of his modeling ways and his sometimes womanly attitude, he's heretofore known as Jordache Jeans, Jordache for short, and David is known as Chicken David. Let's first start out with a group date. And on that group date is Wills, Jean, Jason, Colton, Chicken David, and Jordache. And Jordache is very annoyed to find out that Chicken David is on this date. So what it is a spa date. So Becca gets with, I think, 4 or 5 of the other girls who were like the last women standing of Ari's season. So Tia is there, Cien is there, some other chick, and some other chick, right? And then there's Becca. So they're there, and the guys' jobs are to pamper them. Tia is there, and as we remember from last episode, Colton like went on a couple of dates with Tia in January, and the suspicion is that Colton signed up for the show, and he may or may not have thought that Tia was going to be the Bachelorette. So Becca has some reservations because she wants to know whether or not that could be true. She asks Tia 3 different times if Tia thinks that Colton is there because she thought that Tia might actually be the Bachelorette, and Tia's like, I don't know, but it could be true. I don't know, but
probably.
I'm not sure, but
definitely yes, most likely.
That's awkward. Tia and Colton end up having a conversation. Colton and Jason end up having a conversation because Jason is the only one of the guys that knows about Tia from Colton's own lips. So they've become kind of close. And so they had a little side conversation about what Colton should do in that case. Jason was very supportive and told him just to relax and handle it like normal. And they did, you know. They gave the women massages, pedicures, manicures, and the guys all left there with nail polish on their nails because the women ended up turning it around on them and doing their nails. So then cut to the evening date. So these are the same group of guys, and this is the evening time, and they go and they're sitting around with Becca. They're having this conversation amongst themselves while Becca pulls them individually to talk, you know, to have their date. And it comes out that Jordan had like 400 swipe matches on Tinder. I'm not sure who brought it up. I think it was Jason. But, you know, Jordache was like, yeah, no, that's true. Like, I mean, I think I'm 100 for 100. Like, every girl that I swiped yes, they swiped yes for me. I got like a notification from Tinder letting me know that I had that many in a year. So that's how I know. And so Chicken David is taking this all in, like just taking it in. When is Chicken David's time to talk with Becca? What does he waste his time talking about? Jordache. And telling her that Jordache had 4,000 likes or swipes or matches or something on Tinder. Becca is staring back at Chicken George like, okay, this is what you're using your time for? And I'm thinking the same thing, like, waste of time, being petty. So he's like, I just thought I'd let you know that. And as he leaves, he feels so smug and good about himself that he like did something for Becca. Becca doesn't even seem all that like, oh my God, really? Thank you. She's just kind of looking at him like, you snitch. That's what I was looking at him like. David comes out and along with Becca, and he goes to sit down on the couch with the rest of the guys, and Becca walks by Jordache and is like, oh, hey Jordan, high five on the 4,000 swipes on Tinder. And he's like, no, I mean, that has nothing to do with it. And she was like, no, high five. And he like gives her a high five reluctantly. And he is so pissed at Chicken David. He is so pissed at Chicken David, who I continuously want to call Chicken George because of roots. He's pissed. And Wills and Jason are just simply there for the kiki. Wills, Jason, and Colton are dying at that. And then I'm going to read you a speech from dear old Jordache. Pissed, right? And he's sitting on the couch and he's looking at David, and David starts to then comment on the different looks he's given. He's like, oh wait, what's that look? Because, you know, Jordache's whole thing is like, I'm the pensive bachelor or some shit. Like, I guess that's his like thing that he does in his modeling world, where he like gives looks that are like pensive, and he can be any kind of thing, and he's very versatile, and you know, he's really good with his image and who he is, and he's selling a product, and the product is himself. Finally, Jordache can't take it. So this is what Jordache says. It's funny. You think I'm a joke. I'm a Wilhelmina model. I don't think you know what that means. I have an image. And if you're trying to tear down my image and my 3-year contract with them, it's actually pretty serious. It's something some people consider the top. If you're trying to do that, you're failing at it. Because guess what? Attached to me is my professionality. It's my face. It's in everything I do. It's in the way I walk. It's in the way I talk, okay? If you're trying to wreck my image, you'll never succeed. You know why? Because my image is me. So, in that soliloquy, professionalist is the word that is not a word. You're a Wilhelmina model. Like, David could literally care less about what it takes for you to remain a Wilhelmina model. And not only is he not trying to dissolve your 3-year contract, he does not know nor care that you have a 3-year contract with Wilhelmina Modeling Agency. You know what I'm saying? He's real serious. He was really pissed. It was hilarious. Meanwhile, Jason and Wills has his whole head in his jacket. He has his whole face in his jacket, covering his face up from laughter. And Jason is just like, that was effing awesome. And I'm just like, it was really ridiculous, but awesome at the same time. Back at the ranch, we find out that Chris has been given the only one-on-one date for this week. Now, back at the group date, Becca has decided that Colton can be trusted, and he's there for the quote-unquote right reasons, and he's there for Becca. So she gives him the rose, and that's the end of that date. Now we are on to her one-on-one date with Chris, and her and Chris R go on a date that looks, by their outfits, like they're going to 2 different places. She has on some ridiculous crop top mesh shirt with like a chunky choker. Like, it is like the worst outfit. And he has on like a very casual, like Martha's Vineyard, you know, with like white, looks like some Cole Haan Nike Air shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's very casual, and she's like rock star. Mainly because she knows where they're going, which is Capitol Records, and he doesn't. So they get there and they meet that one guy who wrote that one song a long time ago. And the project is that they are going to write a love song. So they just need to write stanzas or like a little poem about each other. And Chris R is having a hard time because the last time he wrote a letter to somebody he loved, that person did not reciprocate or respond to that letter. That person being his father, who left when he was younger. He's a child of divorce, so he's very upset about it. So he's like very affected by that. And so it was really hard for him, but he did write a really nice little poem. Turns out Becca can't sing. And then that's it. They have their nighttime date. She asks Chris R why it was so hard for him to open up during the session, and he explains that his, you know, dad didn't come through when he needed him to, and she gave him the rose, and that's the end of it. I actually think he's really cute, mainly because now I realize how tall he is, and I like a tall guy, and I like facial hair. But those of you who are saying that he looks like Perez Hilton, he does look like Perez Hilton, but like a more masculine Perez Hilton, you know? Back at the ranch, we have the announcement for the second group date, and those people are Clay, Leo the Lion, who I completely forgot about, Kristan, Ryan, who like completely forgot about. Ryan is the guy who was wearing the tapestry blazer, so yeah. John, who is our Venmo guy. We have Mike, which, I mean, just never talk to anything about Mike. Like, just the long hair, like dirty, greasy, like long-haired guy who's not Leo, you know? And then we have Lincoln, who I literally want to punch in the face, Connor, Blake, and Garrett. The guys are excited because they get to have this opportunity to show off to Becca. And then there's something that's like really dumb and dramatic that happens. The way they set it up is, since David and Jordache was having this issue, Colton says that he woke up seeing Blake screaming over David, and David has just got blood everywhere. David is rushed off to the hospital because something has happened with this man's face. So then Chris, the host, knocks on Becca's door, and Becca opens it like she's just ready for the day, you know. she sits down with Chris, and Chris, like, you know, makes this fake entrance about the fact that, you know, something happened in the house. There was an incident. Chicken David is in intensive care. You know, his face and his nose is all busted up. So they set it up for us to believe that there was a physical altercation. And Becca's like, oh my God, you know, the Academy does not go to her because she did not win that award. But so it was kind of convincing that she didn't know what Chris was going to say. And then he tells her that David full on fell out of the top bunk of the bed and landed directly on his face. I'm like, how hard of a sleeper do you have to be to where, like, you fall out of a bed and you don't wake up enough to catch yourself from falling on your face and breaking things in your face? Like, how hard is that floor? How was there not carpet? Is he going to sue ABC? Did he sign a non-disclosure agreement? Like, what is going on? Are they going to pay for his reconstructive surgery? I don't know what's up with his face, but, like, that sounds pretty hardcore. To wake up with blood all over everything and everybody being kind of scared about it. So weird. He says that he's used to sleeping in a king-size bed. So, like, conveniently, the host, Chris, has a phone. After the first ring, David answers, like, fine as hell. Like, you don't believe he's in intensive care. Jordache is loving this entire situation. He's trying to be sympathetic, but, like, he loves it. He, like, puts a guardrail on Chicken David's bed so that Chicken David won't fall out of the bed the next time, and it's like a joke, and, like, whatever. So we go on to the next group date, and they're playing football, which, for whatever reason, I kind of enjoyed. The guys are playing a white team against the blue team. And, you know, like, Leo and Clay are, like, buds. I think they're on the same team. They very well may not be. And I just play football with, like, some professional women's football players who I thought they were beautiful. I'm just, like, next to... Does Becca eat? Like, so here's my question. If Becca is naturally that skinny, I don't want to talk mess about her because I don't want to body shame her. I mean, not to say that I wouldn't body shame her if it isn't natural, but I'm just saying, like, I just want her to just eat. I just want her to be a little thicker. Like, personally, I would be really sad if I had her body. I like my curves, and she has near none. It's just a bone. You know what I'm saying? Her curves are literally her hip bones jutting out, and I'm not into it. And the reason why I'm not into it is because, honestly, if you can tell that somebody's really skinny on TV, that means they're even skinnier in real life. Because TV really does add 10 pounds. And I'm just like, ugh. So those girls standing next to her, I was like, can one of them be the Bachelorette? Like, they look like they got more going on than Becca. Like, what does Becca do? Like, what does she do? Why is she a catch? Like, what does she do? Lincoln is just so annoying. Every time they put the camera on him, he's like, we're here for Becca, and we're here to play the game, and we're here for Bachelorette, and we love Becca, and we love everything about her, and unicorns, and leprechauns, and, like, I love it. And I'm just like, I hate him. So at some point during this football game, like, Clay gets really competitive. I mean, this is his sport. And so he just, like, takes over. He dominates. You know what I'm saying? He just dominates this entire game. Ends up breaking his wrist. So that's kind of sad at the end of that date because you're just like, oh my God, what's happening with him? The second part of their date, they are all huddled together in this really weird eclectic space with all this, like, stuff. It just, like, they walk into this, like, I don't know if it's like shoe horses and, like, saddle reins or, like, whatever it is, but it's brown and it's, like, leathery and it's, like, hard. And I'm like, what space are they in? And they sit around, and she starts to have her little one-on-ones with them during this group date thing. And Garrett pulls her aside. Connor pulls her aside. You know, people pull her aside and they're having conversations with her about, like, the day and what's going on. And then Clay returns. And she's so happy to see him, you know. And he gets the rose, you know. He broke his wrist, so he clearly gets the rose. The next day, all of a sudden, Clay miraculously gets information that he's going to need surgery on his wrist. And he's going to have to make a choice between being on the show because he needs the surgery right now, the doctor says. So, I mean, the speech he gives before he leaves is, I'm just like, either you really believe in this process and have low self-esteem, Clay, or you're just really good at playing this game. And if that's it, kudos to you, bruh, because you totally fooled me. He gives this whole speech about how He's going to retire in 3 years, and he doesn't know if he's giving up the opportunity of a lifetime, because if he doesn't find somebody at the end of that 3 years to settle down with after his retirement, he's going to wish that he had stayed in this competition, because he doesn't know if he's going to ever find a girl like Becca. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and blah, blah, blah. This is a really hard choice, but he has to take care of his family, and football's how he make his money, so he's got to get his wrist fixed. And I'm just like, girl, there is no debate. Like, what are you even debating about? I feel like once he broke his wrist, like, ABC decided that they were going to have a whole, like, shocking storyline at the end. So they set this entire thing up for him to get the rose, like he didn't know he wasn't going to be there, and then for him to tell her at the rose ceremony that he was going to have to walk away, for her to have some really weird meltdown over him, because, like, we haven't seen them really interact like that. She has not given him a one-on-one date yet, so I'm just like, we don't know that much about Clay besides his ambiguity. And then, like, when she's watching him walk away, it's so dramatic, and he, like, low-key waddles away, because I think that those pants do not fit his muscular frame, God bless us. But, like, it's so contrived and dumb. Before he even tells her he's leaving, he's staring into the fire, waiting for her to walk into the room, because presumably, you know, producers have told her that Clay has something to say. And she's like, I don't want to stop him from taking care of his family, and, like, I just know that he, like, because of his upbringing, he has to take care of his family, and I just don't know, it's all terrible. And, like, she's, like, crying as though it's, like, Blake leaving. You would think that this reaction would get, like, from Blake, somebody who clearly she is into. Speaking of Blake, Blake was having a hard time this week because he had his one-on-one last week, and he was feeling like he didn't want to see his girlfriend kissing somebody else. And, like, I feel him. I actually think they would be really good together. But I really want to know, somebody please comment down below and tell me what's so special about Becca, and why Clay, even in the fantasy of this, would say all that stupid stuff like she isn't a basic bee from the Midwest. Like, she's, like, real basic to me. Like, you can find a brunette, like, oddly bony, skinny Midwestern white woman at any time you want to. Like, does she develop some kind of software? Is she, like, a genius? Like, what makes her special? Because Rachel was really special, because Rachel was very smart and, like, a lawyer. All right, so let's end this episode with who I hate, Lincoln, Jordache, right? I don't like them. I could do without Mike and Connor. They can absolutely go home. I want John to get his chance. He hasn't gotten any chance. They've just made him play sports, and he's not a sports guy. He, like, developed software. Can we put him in front of a computer? My top 5, actually, I'm gonna say Jason, Blake, Wills, Chris R, and just for S and giggles, John. I want him there. This episode was like, ugh, I remember why I don't like this. It's just so overproduced and so ridiculous. Who designed Becca this episode? Her dress at the rose ceremony, that red dress, was just not doing it for her. It gave her no kind of body yaddy yaddy. She was just like, bleh. I want to do over. Next episode, I want to see 2 rose ceremonies. You need to make it 2 hours and, like, 20 minutes if you must, ABC. But I need some reconciliation for this week. Alright, you guys, so that's the end of this episode for today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it down below. Let's have a conversation. What did you think of The Bachelorette? Thank you so much for hate watching it with me. If you would like to see things that I do on this channel, please go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you would know whenever I upload something. You feel me? Alright, you guys, have a fantastic day. Bye.